Hi, and happy 2025. I have a lot of different projects, and one of them, this moment, is to talk to you about 2025 and how you can have a much better solutions for the year by resolutions. A lot of times in our preparation for a new year, we're thinking about all these new things we want to do, but they're actually usually not new. They're things that we do every year, and sometimes we've done some of it, we just haven't completed it because we're a growing human being. And so I think they're resolutions. And so setting up our resolutions for 2025 really aligns with my 7th Level Leadership Solutions LLC. And the 7th is actually an acronym, and it includes 7 words: sustainable, ethical, vision-oriented, empowering, non-discriminatory, targeted, and holistic. And so in this series, I'm just going to go briefly into each of those and give you a little bit of ideas on things that you can do to plan for resolutions for 2025. So 7th Level Leadership is about to begin. So number 1, sustainable. What is sustainable? It's basically the idea of doing something that's going to last, that it's not going to just fall apart quickly. And when we have to think about things that we're doing that are sustainable, we have to consider the habits that we have. How are we handling our mental fitness? How are we serving others? And how are we going to do things that we know are going to have a longer term impact? And so being sustainable in our efforts for 2025 is something to think about in both our personal and professional work life. So consider mental fitness as part of that. I do have a program for it. You're welcome to reach out and we can talk more about it. But in the meantime, in between time, sit around and think a little bit about things that you want to be sustainable in your life for 2025. Number 2, ethical. Believe it or not, we have to work on being ethical, not just because we have a foundational belief system that matters to us. And for me, I have a Christian faith, and so my Christian faith actually is a very important thing in my life, but I'm a human, and what we know is that we're sinners saved by faith, right? So the reality is that to be ethical, we actually have to think about the big picture of how we are functioning and really assess ourselves and the things that we're doing in our life. And is it an ethical thing to do? Are we actually moving forward with the correct moral perspective on that? And so I think it's a really good thing to just assess yourself and the things that you're doing in your life, and are they really ethical in the circumstances that you're dealing with? And that can be a professional situation, or it could be a personal situation. It could be parenting, it could be marriage. There's all kinds of things that our ethical behavior is important and impacts. So go for it. And if you want to chat more on it, we can. Number 3, vision-oriented. It is very important for us to have a vision of what we want to do, and not just a vision of it, but we need to be oriented to that vision. And that's one of the things about these resolutions. We have to be oriented to the things that we have envisioned for ourselves, but we first have to create that vision. And that vision is, a lot of times you can do that through a vision board, which can be done digitally, or you can do it by cutting up magazines and just creating a little poster board of what you want and thinking about it. And honestly, it can be very helpful. So being vision oriented with visual components is a great way to kick off your 2025. So go for it. Number 4, empowering. Empower yourself and others in your life. And that we need to do that with a good mental mindset, both to ourselves, to others, and to the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And that mental fitness is a very important part of empowerment. And it's also very important to be encouraging, because we need to encourage ourselves. Sometimes we feel weird about looking in the mirror and appreciating ourselves, and sometimes we need to do that, because honestly, we're the person that we live with our whole life. And so it's important to appreciate that we've been created for plans and purposes that are beyond our scope sometimes, and it's important to really empower ourselves. But at the same time, when we empower ourselves, it actually is a ripple effect, kind of in the same way when you're sitting on an airplane and they say put your mask on first before you put it on the child, so to make sure that you're okay. We need to do that, and that way we can help others. So consider how you can be empowering and have a great 2025 with that. Number 5, non-discriminatory perspectives. How can we have a great perspective on our environment, but considering all the amazing different types of people we get to be around, whether it's race, whether it's gender, or whether it's season of life in terms of age or generation. There's all kinds of perspectives in terms of culture that we can not be frustrated with, but appreciate and understand how it makes our life better, because different perspectives allow us to grow and learn and to bring different perspectives to other people as well. So consider embracing it instead of discriminating against it. And that will make it a great 2025 and beyond. Number 6, target. It's really important to target what you want to focus on as your resolution for 2025. And the biggest thing about targeting is that we need to make sure that we are thinking about the things that we need to let go so that we can make other things happen. And that's what targeting is. Sometimes we're doing things that are good, but they're not necessarily great. So consider that. What is great about what you want to do, and what is only good about some of the other things that you're doing that maybe you need to let go of? Target. Go for it and make 2025 a very targeted year. Number 7, the number of completion. Holistic. Think about everything that you are looking at in your life, personal, professional, in the world around you, with your community, and have a holistic view of what you want to do as your resolutions for 2025 to go on to the next level. If you don't look at the big picture, you may not have a totally clear understanding of what you should be focusing on. So all those other steps that we've talked about, sustainable, ethical, vision-oriented, empowering, non-discriminatory, targeted, you have to have a holistic view of all of that to really understand what the best space that you need to be in for 2025 is. So take on that holistic view and make 2025 the best year ever that you can, based on your efforts to do all of those things in the 7th level leadership solutions thought process. Sustaining, ethical, vision-oriented, empowering, non-discriminatory, targeted, and then again, holistic. Have a great year.